This is number 24 in our study of the resurrection in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Well, we've come to the point of 1 Corinthians 15 where Paul said that Christ was the first fruit of those who had fallen asleep, that is, died before him. And as I pointed out to you, Sam Frost has been attempting to respond to some of the things that I had to say. And then on Facebook, he's been writing some things and trying to answer a little bit of the problems that he raised for himself by his video. Now, here's what Sam Frost said. And this strikes folks at the very heart of what Paul actually said and the way people are willing to manipulate what Paul actually said to twist it and to turn it to make it say something it simply doesn't say. And it illustrates, I invented a Latin term many years ago, purely in levity, and that Latin term is argumentum desperatum. And what I mean by that is the longer I live and the more I witness people attempting to answer covenant eschatology, the more desperate their arguments become. The more they are willing to twist and to distort what those of us who espouse the truth of covenant eschatology actually say. I raised the point in response to Sam Frost. Sam Frost said, even though and because God said to Adam and Eve, in the day you eat of the forbidden fruit, you will surely die. Now, please catch the power of this. Sam Frost agrees and admits that Adam and Eve died spiritually the very day they ate. Now, I have to point out that in his video number 2, Sam said, well, spiritual death is not real. There is no such thing because the spirit never dies. And then less than a minute later he says they died spiritually. Okay, if there's no such thing as spiritual death, then how did they die spiritually? You see, this is the problem. Well, anyway, Sam Frost said they did die covenantally, relationally, that very day. But God offered an animal sacrifice for them. He covered their nakedness, and they did not die. Adam and Eve did not die. The animal did, but the animal was a substitute for Adam and Eve. So Adam and Eve did not die for 900 years. Now, I just have to point out the incongruity of this. Sam Frost tells us that man is a singularity. You cannot dichotomize between man spiritually and man physically. But what does Sam Frost do? He bifurcates man's existence. And he says man died covenantally the very day he ate, but he did not die spiritually for 900 years. And I pose the following question. If it was true, and it most assuredly was true according to Sam Frost, if it was true that the animal sacrifice, the substitutionary animal sacrifice, delayed, forestalled, postponed the biological death of Adam and Eve for 900 years, why did it not likewise postpone their spiritual alienation from God for the same period of time? Now, Sam Frost posted on Facebook, quote, I don't believe my ears. But Don Preston is simply asking this. Why don't the animal sacrifices do what the sacrifice of Christ did? Why doesn't the animal sacrifice have the same efficacy as did Christ? That's his response, wow, unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, this is argumentum desperatum exemplified, magnified. I absolutely did not ask why the animal sacrifices don't do what Christ's sacrifice does. I asked if animal sacrifices could postpone biological death for 900 years, then why does not the sacrifice of Christ, which is far better, according to Hebrews chapter 10, why doesn't the sacrifice of Christ forestall, postpone our physical death for at least that same period of time? You see, what Sam has done is completely ignored my argument. He twisted my argument. He distorted it and made me ask something I never asked. I pointed out that Sam Frost himself said, due to the substitutionary animal sacrifice, Adam and Eve did not die for 900 years. I then posed the question, since Jesus' death was substitutionary in nature, i.e. his physical death per Sam Frost, then why does not that substitutionary physical death of Jesus not forestall our physical death for at least 900 years? Now you can go back and you can watch Sam Frost's video, and you will find him not addressing that question even with one syllable of response. You know, folks, look, you can't say logically that animal sacrifices were a substitute for the physical death of Adam and Eve for 900 years without logically raising the question, Jesus' physical death was a substitute for our physical death, according to Sam Frost. Why then does the physical sacrifice of Jesus Christ as a substitute for our physical death, why does it not forestall our physical death for at least as long as it did Adam and Eve? Sam Frost has not, will not, and cannot answer that question, which is based upon his faulty understanding of the substitutionary animal sacrifice and therefore the substitutionary physical death of Jesus. Now, we're going to address even more specifically this concept of Christ being the first fruit, the first to be raised from the dead. And we'll do that on the flip side. In the meantime, in contrast to the obfuscation, the cloudy thinking, the evasiveness of Sam Frost in what he has written on Facebook and done on YouTube, you need to get a copy of the book Exegetical Essays on the Resurrection to see the clarity of his thinking, the logic of his thinking in the book Exegetical Essays on the Resurrection. Go to my website, BibleProphecy.com, order the book. Regular price, $17.95 plus $4.95 shipping. You need a copy of this book. You'll see how clearly Sam Frost was thinking here in contrast to what he is now saying on YouTube and Facebook. Hey, we got more. We'll see you on the flip side.